Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive, going deep into the wild world of New Eden. Well, specifically, the upcoming Revenant expansion for EVE Online.
Right, yeah.
So if you're already knee-deep in spaceships and star charts, you know EVE is all about forging your own pathway.
Absolutely.
But this update, oh boy, this is going to shake things up big time.
Yeah, what's really interesting about Revenant, I think, is how it's like they're dropping this whole new faction right into the mix. And it's not just like, oh, here's some new ships, go nuts. This has potential to like completely redraw the power dynamics of the whole game. You're going to have to navigate this whole new element.
Okay, so let's talk about this new faction then, the Deathless.
Yeah.
And they kind of just like appeared out of thin air.
Yeah.
Right after the Zarzak siege went down, which anyone who's been following E for a while knows that was a whole thing.
Huge.
And now they're on this big quest to collect something called Atavum.
Right.
So for anyone who maybe hasn't had time to like dive into the whole lore codex, what is Atavum and why does it have everyone in such a tizzy?
So think of Atavum like, almost like it's this element X that's always been in the EVE universe. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but
Ooh, mysterious.
right. There are hints that it ties into these ancient technologies, maybe even connects back to the Drifters somehow. And those guys have always been shrouded in mystery, almost mythical, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that the Deathless are willing to shell out big rewards for this Atavum, that tells you they're not messing around. Whatever they're planning, it's probably huge, could shake up the entire game.
And by big rewards, I'm guessing we're talking those sweet new ships everyone's hyped about.
Exactly.
The Tholos destroyer and the Cenotaph Battlecruiser, those are the hot ticket items right now. What makes these so special? What's got everyone drooling over the specs?
These aren't just like stat upgrades, they bring whole new ways to fight to EVE. So the Tholos, for instance, that's got a covert ops cloak built in.
Ooh, sneaky.
Right, it's like stealth on steroids. Imagine sneaking past an entire fleet completely undetected or slipping into a system that's on total lockdown, that kind of tactical advantage in EVE. Huge.
Oh, absolutely. Timing is everything in EVE, knowing when to strike, when to disappear.
Absolutely.
And then you've got the Cenotaph, which is packing some serious heat. We're talking breaching pods, Schraker clone weaponry. For
Right.
those of us who don't speak fluent Starship, break it down. What are we looking at here?
So picture this. Breaching pods, they're like, instead of just hammering away at a ship's shields, these things punch right through, hit them where it hurts the core systems. Devastating, especially if you can take out a flagship or command ship right at the start of a fight. And then the Schraker clone weapons, well, you don't want to be on the wrong end of that. Imagine like area denial, but cranked up to 11.
Sounds nasty.
Very effective. You deploy those right, you can completely control the flow of a battle.
So we're not just talking about bigger guns on these new ships. It's a whole different way to think about fighting.
Yeah.
That's got to have some ripple effects throughout New Eden.
Oh, for sure. It's like introducing a new apex predator into an ecosystem. Everything that was stable before, out the window. Now everyone's scrambling to adapt, figure out how to survive, how to counter this new threat.
Which is where things get really interesting for our listeners.
Yeah.
Because you're not just watching this play out, you're in the game.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, are you going to join the Deathless,
Yeah.
try to get your hands on those ships, or are you going to team up, try to find a way to fight back against them? That's what's so great about EVE. Those choices, they have real impact. So we've got these awesome new ships, but they're not just giving them away, right? That's where these Mercenary Dens come in. They sound a little more intense than your average space dock.
Yeah, these things are really interesting. They actually tie right into the whole player-driven economy of EVE, which I love.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Basically, imagine you can deploy these mobile outposts, these mercenary dens, and they generate this stuff, these encrypted infomorphs, which, as you can guess, the Deathless are, shall we say, very keen to get their hands on.
Classic supply and demand then. Players want the new toys. The Deathless need these infomorphs. But this being EVE, I'm guessing it's not as simple as just trading some space salvage for a shiny new battlecruiser.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But it's never that simple in New Eden.
So what's the catch?
The thing about EVE is it's all about who controls the information, right? So yeah, you can trade these infomorphs, make a tidy profit, but the real power play, that's in controlling the flow.
Ooh, okay, I like where this is going.
Imagine, right, you corner the market on these infomorphs, you set the price, you decide who gets access to the Deathless's tech, maybe even hold entire corporations hostage if you're feeling spicy.
So that's what I call playing 4D chess in space.
Right.
So these mercenary dens, they're not just about making a quick buck. They could spark a whole new era of like corporate espionage and warfare. You've got alliances shifting, backstabbing. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes EVE so unique. The developers, they create the game, but it's the players who truly bring it to life. And with Revenant, oh, they're giving players some seriously powerful tools.
Speaking of powerful tools, let's shift gears for a sec and talk about corporation projects. For anyone who might be new to EVE, can you give us the quick rundown of what those are, why they matter?
Sure thing. So say you're part of a corporation in EVE, right? Basically a player-run organization, and you want to work together towards some big goal.
Right.
Corporation projects, that's how you do it. You set objectives, track everyone's progress, divvy up the rewards. And Revenant, it's really overhauling this whole system, giving you way more control, way more options.
So instead of it just being like, go mine 5,000 units of ore, you can get really specific with it.
Exactly. We're talking different types of ore, setting limits on where it can be mined, even requiring specific ships to be involved, adds a whole other layer of strategy, especially if you're trying to manage a big corporation. Like, imagine setting up this super complex logistics operation to extract rare minerals from a dangerous asteroid field, or coordinating this massive mining operation to fuel your corporation's expansion. It's pretty wild.
Sounds like a micromanager's dream come true, in a good way.
For sure.
But it's not all work and no play in Revenant. They've also got some cool stuff for people who want to, express themselves a bit. I am talking about the expanded skin system. Hit me with the details.
Oh, the skins. Yeah, that's always been a fun part of EVE. All right, making your ship your own, standing out from the crowd. But Revenant, they're taking it to a whole new level. Imagine going from, like, finger painting to using professional-grade art tools. That's what we're talking about here.
Okay, now you had to tell me more about these art tools. What can we do now that we couldn't before?
So the big thing is this new two-layer system. Now you can layer different patterns and textures on your ships, which means way more intricate, more unique designs. Like, imagine putting flames over your camouflage pattern or making it look like your ship's been through 100 battles with this randomized wear and tear.
Oh, I love that.
Right, and if you're not feeling creative, there's even a randomize button. Just hit that and boom, the game cooks up a design for you. Tweak it if you want, or just roll with it.
So you're saying I could be the trendsetter of New Eden? Rocking a ship design so fresh, everyone else is going to be copying me.
You could be a legend.
Got to start brainstorming right now. Okay, but let's not get too distracted by the fashion show. Revenant also has some good old-fashioned quality of life improvements. The kind of stuff that, might not be as flashy as new ships or fancy skins, but still makes a big difference for us everyday players. What's got you excited in that department?
One thing I'm really happy about is the redesigned ship info window. I know it doesn't sound like much.
Small changes, big impact though, right?
Exactly. And for anyone who spends a lot of time, really tweaking their ships, optimizing their fits, this is going to be huge.
Sell me on it. What's so great about a redesigned info window?
Basically, they just made it way cleaner, way more user-friendly. Information is easier to find. There are little visual cues now, so you don't have to hunt for things, tooltips that explain stuff better. It just makes the whole process of outfitting your ship so much smoother.
I do love a good UI upgrade.
Yeah.
It's the little things sometimes.
For sure.
And speaking of little things that can have a big impact, let's talk Everm Marks. They're getting some love in Revenant too, right?
They are, yeah. Everm Marks, for anyone who's new, they're basically a way to speed up your progress by doing these daily challenges.
Right, right.
But with Revenant, CCP is giving players even more ways to use them, more flexibility.
Because who doesn't love more flexibility?
Yeah.
Especially in a game as massive and, let's be honest, sometimes grindy as EVE. What kind of flexibility are we talking about? Give me the good stuff.
So the big one is you can now use Everm Marks to complete those AR daily goals. Oh, interesting.
Which is going to be huge for anyone who can't always log in every single day or just, wants to focus on certain parts of the game.
So instead of feeling like I have to grind through every single goal every day, I can pick and choose, use my Everm Marks strategically to fill in the gaps.
Precisely. It's all about giving you more control over your playstyle, letting you experience EVE the way you want to. And speaking of experiencing EVE in different ways, Revenant also brings some cool changes to, Vanguard.
Vanguard. Now that's where EVE Online goes from, epic space battles to straight up action hero stuff, right?
Yeah, boots on the ground, different kind of intensity.
Definitely. And I know a lot of our listeners are trying to know, what's Revenant going to do with Vanguard? Any hints we can tease out?
CCP is being pretty secretive as usual, but what the HVE said, it sounds like big changes are coming. For anyone who likes to get up close and personal in EVE, Vanguard is about to get very interesting. Ooh. Okay, no spoilers, I get it. But come on, give us a little taste. What can we expect? New war zones, new weapons, enemies, the works. What has you hyped?
You know, it's got me really thinking. They keep talking about player choice and consequences. Like, the stuff you do in Vanguard, it's going to have ripple effects, actually change the persistent world of New Eden.
Whoa, okay, so it's not just like racking up points in a side mission.
Yeah.
This is affecting the whole game world.
It sounds like it. Imagine you complete a Vanguard mission, right? And that tips the balance of power in a whole region, or you uncover some secret that sends shockwaves through, like the entire player base. That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
So it's not just about being a badass anymore. It's about leaving your mark on history. I love it.
Exactly. You're not just playing the game, you're shaping the galaxy. That's what makes it so exciting.
Well said. It feels like Revenant is shaping up to be one of those expansions where no matter how you play Eve, there's something here for you.
I think so, definitely.
Newbies, veterans, everyone's got something to get hyped about, something to draw them deeper into New Eden, which is really saying something for a game that's already as massive as Eve.
It's a testament to how well they make this game. You know, Eve is always evolving, and it's driven by the players, all the crazy ideas, the ambitions. CCP gives you the tools and then just gets out of the way. And with Revenant, those tools are about to get a huge DG upgrade.
So I gotta ask, what about you listening? What will your legacy be in this new era of Eve? Are you going to join the Deathless, get your hands on all that cool tech, build a corporation that controls all those sweet, sweet infomorphs?
Right. So many options.
Maybe you'll be the next big fashion icon, designing the hottest ship skins in the galaxy. Or hey, maybe you go full space pirate, just wreaking havoc wherever you go. It's your call.
That's the beauty of Eve, right? The choice is yours.
Just remember, in New Eden, every choice has consequences. Choose wisely.
Words to live by.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the Revenant expansion. We've covered a lot today. Mysterious new factions, killer new ships, economic shakeups. Oh, and did I mention you can make your ship look even cooler than ever?
Looking good is half the battle.
Absolutely. But as always, we've only scratched the surface. There's a whole galaxy out there waiting to be explored, conquered, maybe even reshaped by you, Toki. So get out there, Capsuleers, make some noise, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Fly safe.